I'm James. You've got some name cards on your tables. You could all politely write your names down there. If you wish to preferred pronoun, my preferred pronoun is he, him. If you want to, you can, but if not, just leave your names. So we're going to be talking about Christchurch earthquakes and what to do when the shaking starts. Okay, so the agenda for today. So we're going to be talking about Christchurch, New Zealand, and a couple of major earthquakes that they had, the damage that they caused, liquefaction and the red zone. I will explain what they are to you, and what to do with an earthquake. So firstly, you've got some red, yellow and green cards on your table. I'd like you to please rate yourself on how confident you feel about knowing what to do in an earthquake. You just hold up whichever colour you are. Okay, so we've got a couple of yellows, red and a red.
Yeah, red.
Okay, thank you, Jamie, Dan, Georgia and Phil. So the earthquake, so it's going to be a bit of a task, so I want you to tell me which one is worse. However, I'm going to explain the differences between the two first. So over on the side here, we've got September the 4th, 2010. So that's when it happened, the first one. It was a 7.1 magnitude earthquake, which is the strength of the earthquake, which is quite severe. It happened 6 miles deep, that's the depth of it. 6 miles underground is where it started. It lasted for 40 seconds, and it was a lateral fault type earthquake, which means that the two plates were side by side. The second earthquake, major earthquake, was on February 22nd, 2011. It was a 6.3 magnitude, so still quite severe. It was only 3 miles deep, so it's obviously a lot closer to the crust of the earth, and it only lasted 10 seconds. This one was an oblique fault, which means the two plates, one lifts higher than the other, and it moves this way. So which one do you think would be worse in terms of more damage caused?
I'd say oblique.
Say oblique, Phil? Yeah. We're all in agreement on oblique? Yeah? Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, it's a lot worse because you've got two movements rather than just one.
Lift it up a little.
Yeah, so lifts up, down.
And it can also pass.
Yeah, so it can, and what ends up happening is on the surface, it's like a circular motion because it's you're going up and down and side to side at the same time. So the damage caused due to the secondary earthquake in February is the earthquake unfortunately killed 185 people. 115 of these were just in one building. Thousands of people also received treatment for injuries, both minor and major injuries. Over 50% of the city's buildings in the central city were damaged beyond repair, which meant they had to then be demolished and rebuilt. 8,000 homes were completely destroyed. The earthquake caused $77 billion worth of damage in Christchurch. Water and sewage pipes, main electrical lines were damaged, causing no water or electricity throughout the city. And there was widespread damage due to liquefaction. Now, I'm going to show you a quick video. I want you to concentrate on, there's a couple of guys that live in this sort of area between two cars. If you just watch them and watch their movements, it gives you an idea of how violent the earthquake was. Can't get the video to play, annoyingly. No, I'll move on because it's not working. Sorry, but basically what happens is the two people here, they end up jumping from one side. So there's a guy starts here and he ends up over by this car.
It's literally because of the shaking.
Because of the shaking,
Moving
up
to
and
the
down,
pitch,
and he
yeah.
literally physically comes off the ground and comes back down, and they're there just trying to balance themselves. The building over here completely collapses. It's only a 30-second video, but yeah, it was one worth a watch. You can maybe watch it another time. So these are just some of the images of the damage, and fairly significant images. So Christchurch Cathedral is here. It's kind of the city, it's the heart of the city. The city was built around the cathedral. The spire of the building completely fell off. Not too long after this, after the earthquake, the whole front gable of the church fell off as well. And it's still like this to this day. It hasn't been repaired. There are plans in place, however, it's not been repaired due to other things being a priority, like people's homes need to be built. The middle building is the CTV building. This was the building 115 people died in. As you can see, it basically just pancaked due to the severity of the earthquake. Liquefaction over here. I'll explain that on the next slide, what that is. And then obviously damage to infrastructure, the roads are completely buggered throughout the city, which obviously extensive rebuild needed for that. So what is liquefaction? Does anybody know what liquefaction is?
No idea, James.
No? Okay. So liquefaction. So we've got stable soil over on this side, stable buildings, stable soil. Stable soil is loosely packed grains of soil that held together by friction. So it's just tightly packed together. Makes it stable, makes it fairly solid. Under earthquake conditions, it becomes liquefied soil, or can be, depending on the severity, which means that the shaking basically destabilizes the soil, but then increases the space between each grain, which allows moisture to fill that space. The soil turns into liquid, effectively. Buildings can sink into the soil. Once the earthquake's finished, it goes to a solid again, which on this slide you can see. So, just an example of, in a residential area, liquefaction. The soils come out through the concrete, through wherever it can, as liquid, silt. Cars have sunk into the ground. There's pictures of cars almost fully sunk into the ground. And it's a widespread area, so this is just a small area where you can see people's gardens are just completely buggered. And the only way to get rid of it is get a shovel out and start getting rid of it. This is a digger in the background and that photo here, scooping up. So liquefaction leads me on to the red zones. So there were red zones, which is areas throughout Christchurch and Canterbury that were red zoned, which meant they are uninhabitable. You cannot build on those areas again. This obviously affected a lot of people. As you can see, this was all housing here. These are streets, same as it would have been here. The houses have obviously all been demolished and taken away, but this is now what it looks like here and here. The main areas were by the Avon River. And you can see this photo, for instance, this was all houses. The other side of the river was fine. It's just so happened to be this side, you can't build on there anymore because of that liquefaction issue. So it's just, it's quite a serious thing. Okay, what would you do in an earthquake?
I have no idea.
No idea?
Run for higher ground, I mean, that.
Potentially.
Has it got loose labels?
Stand in doorways.
Stay away
Come back
from
to that
glass.
if I've got time. What'd you say?
Stay away from glass.
Yeah, stay away from glass, definitely. Okay, so what to do? Drop. It's the first thing we're going to do to the floor. You're inside the building, get down on the floor. This stops you being knocked over by the quake itself shaking. You then find cover. If you can't find cover, by crawling to cover, you cover your head. This makes you a smaller target for any falling or flying objects. Also protects your head, neck and vital organs.
That's your 10 minutes.
Thank you. Next thing you do is hold. And what we mean by that is you stay still. You do not go out of the building while
Onto
the
something
earthquake.
solid, so
Yeah,
it's
so you
not-
can hold on to something physically, or you just stay put. You're covering and you're holding. You're waiting for the earthquake to stop, and then you go outside. If you're in a building, obviously if you're outside, you drop it and you're covering to stop anything falling on you to prevent it. Another video that's not going to play. This video here, it's a very short video. Civil Defence came up with the drop cover hold, and this is just explaining it. It's an advert on TV that comes up all the time, just to remind everybody what to do. So now, I'd like to ask those that are willing to take part in an earthquake drill. Now, it's not going to work quite as well because the video isn't going to work, which is going to play my sound. So I might just tap on the table to pretend that it's a siren. So what I would ask you to do is, when I start banging on the table,
Yeah.
that's the siren going off.
Yeah.
You're going to drop to the ground, you're going to get onto the table in front of you, and you're going to get into that sort of turtle position and hold on to something, if you can, while covering your head.
Okay. That's good. Look at down there, I might get it.
Okay, you don't all have to do it, it's only those that are willing to do it.
No, do it.
I want at least one person to do it, ideally.
Can't do it, do it. Pull it still.
Okay, we all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Earthquake. Okay. Well done, guys. You can all come out from under the tables.
Is that the siren over?
So, do any of you have an idea how long that was?
30 seconds?
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
That was only 10 seconds.
A lot longer.
Feels like a lot longer,
Do
right?
it.
So you imagine the earth is shaking and you're getting thrown around under there.
Yeah.
It feels like even longer again. The
The
first earthquake was 40 seconds long that it was shaking for. The second one was 10, which is what you guys just did.
Yeah.
This earthquake drill is used throughout the country of New Zealand, as well as other earthquake-prone countries. And one thing, you'll see my little turtle safe in the corner. That's something they use in primary schools, nurseries, where they practice being a turtle, because that's the position they get into, and that's what they use. My boy was had to do that drill in school and nursery quite frequently, as frequent as you would do a fire drill as they do an earthquake drill.
Is there a specific type of siren for this earthquake?
Yeah, it sounds like an old like World War II siren that goes off when the bombs are coming.
Yeah.
It sounds like that.
So everyone will be aware that that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd set that off, but unfortunately the video didn't work, sorry guys.
Okay.
Okay, so with the cards again, can you rate yourself on how confident you feel being red, not confident, green, very confident, and what to do in an earthquake? Oh, I'm loving that we've got all greens.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's brilliant. So that's really good that you all feel confident now in what to do in an earthquake. I'm pleased about that. Thank you all for
One question though.
participating. Yes.
Say if it was still shaking after it stopped, how long would you kind of stay under?
In
When do
turtle
you think it'd be
position.
like safe to move?
You know
You
when
know.
it stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stops.
So like after it stopped and you can't hear any more things dropping around you, you'd kind of get up.
Yeah, you get up and you start making your way outside.
Yeah.
If you're by the coast, if you live by the coast, you'd do exactly the same thing, but if it lasted a minute or longer, you'd go out after the earthquake and you'd head for high ground because of potential tsunami.
Okay.
But yeah, you know when it stops. It stops as fast as it starts. You hear the sound and the rumble first, then the earth starts shaking, and it slowly sort of peers away and it's gone. And then you've got time to get outside. However, there are aftershocks, so it continues to go on for multiple days, sometimes weeks. But yeah.
Did you ever have any earthquakes while you were there?
Yeah, lots. Yeah, lots. The biggest one I felt was a 7 point something, which was an earthquake in Kaikoura, which is north of Christchurch, and it takes about 3 hours to drive there, so it's quite far away, but it was massive. It was huge. Again, similar damage to what happened here, but in Kaikoura. That was in 2017. My boy was only 3 months old. It was in the middle of the night. He was in a Moses basket next to my wife. She fell asleep the whole and didn't wake up because she was obviously exhausted. I obviously felt it, woke up and had to hold the Moses basket still, because otherwise he'd have gone straight over. It was that bad. Yeah, the TV came off the table. Things were everywhere.
She still didn't wake up.
No, no, it was just in a bit of a blur. Just what's happening? But yeah. But otherwise, that's us done.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Brilliant, thank you,
participating.
James, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.